Now I'd like to introduce Beverlye Hyman Fead, who's going to add her experience as a patient to the conversation. Beverlye is an author, artist, poet, photographer, and cancer survivor. I'm going to leave it to Beverlye to tell you more about her experience with cancer, but I do want to tell you about how she's become a powerful advocate for cancer patients. Beverlye is the author of a book for patients with cancer, as well as a book for children who have a loved one dealing with the disease, which she co-wrote with her granddaughter. Beverlye, and there's actually, I think there's an issue over on the table if you want to take a look at it. Beverlye not only speaks about her experience at events like these across the nation, but has also shared her story in a documentary that she wrote and produced. And she's currently at work turning her blog, Aging in High Heels, who doesn't love that, into her third book. And please join me in welcoming this amazing woman to the podium.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'm so honored to be on the same panel with Dr. Pritchard and Dr. Cohn. That's really an amazing thrill for me. You both are so impressive. I'd like to thank Lindsay Clark, the Alliance for Aging Research, for bringing me here, and the Personalized Medicine Coalition and the American Association of Cancer Research. And thank you to Linda House, Lynn Silbert, and Sheila Hammer from the cancer support community for all their good work and for passing my name along to get the ball rolling. I'm very honored to be here today. I could say that my cancer odyssey started 22 years ago when I received my first diagnosis, but that wouldn't really be true, because it really started the year I was born, the year my grandmother died of liver cancer. 27 years later, my mother died of colon cancer, and a few years after that, my eldest sister died of ovarian cancer at the age of 54, and then my middle sister died of liver cancer at 63. No woman in my family ever reached 64. Unfortunately, I lost a niece and nephew at 61 of throat cancer and brain cancer, and two first cousins of lymphoma and lung cancer. Needless to say, cancer ran rampant in my family. When I received my first diagnosis, and I was 50 years old, and they told me it was uterine lining cancer, that's a little cancer. That's kind of like being a little bit pregnant. I was delighted because it meant it was easily healed. I had a radical hysterectomy. All my cells were clean, my margins were clean. I had no treatment. I was free. I was clear. For some reason, I got away with this. I couldn't have been happier. So when 12 years later, I had some stomach pains that kind of doubled me over, just for a moment, I thought I picked up a bug. My husband and I were out of the country, and food made me ill, and I felt nauseous whenever I would finish a meal. And I had that funny little stitch pain in my abdomen. We agreed that when I came home from this trip, I would go see my internist. I did, and he told me to lie down on the table, and he felt my stomach. Ooh, that hurt. He said, "How long has that been going on?" And when I heard my answer, I realized I must have been living in fear after all. I said, "About a year." He said, "That's not right, Beverlye. We have to take an x-ray." I argued with him. I told him I had been taking good care of myself. I was fit. I ate well. He said, "We're going to take an x-ray. Do it for me." I did. There was a large mass on my abdomen. I stopped arguing. He then ordered a colonoscopy, an endoscopy, blood tests, tumor markers, biopsy. Nothing showed up. "You see," I said, I'm well. It was a bug I picked up. He said, "Let's do one more test. We'll put you under and do another biopsy, and this will give us time to look around." We went down to UCLA for that test. And as I awoke from the anesthetic, I heard my doctor telling my family, "This is very serious. She has 8 large tumors in her abdomen. This is Friday. I want her in the hospital by Monday for 4 kinds of chemotherapy into the site, 24 hours a day, 3 weeks at a time. She'll become very ill. When she gets back up, we'd like to resection her stomach. It's a long, arduous operation with a long recovery. And when she recovers from that, if we still have any tumors that we see, we'd like to put her back in the hospital for 4 kinds of chemotherapy for 3 weeks at a time again." I don't know how I knew, but I did, and I said, "I want more opinions." My team went to work. By the next week, they had an opinion of a triage at City of Hope. 3 doctors there looked at all my CAT scans and papers, and they said, "We agree with the doctor from UCLA." But they added 2 chilling sentences. Number 1 is that you better hurry because you'll miss your window of opportunity. You've got to do this immediately. And when asked what would happen if I didn't do this regimen, they said, "You have 2 months at best." I don't really remember leaving City of Hope. I don't remember how the meeting ended or getting into the car, but I do remember hearing a lot of crying. And I'm not sure if it was mine or my family's, or both. But my team had 2 more appointments set up. By this time, we had found out that I did have sarcoma. And so they had an appointment with Dr. Charles Forscher, head of sarcoma at Cedars-Sinai, and Dr. Frederick Eilber, head of sarcoma at UCLA. Dr. Charles Forscher was the first doctor to go into my old slides of my first cancer and see that those contained cells were not so quite contained, that they had moved into my abdomen, thus creating the 8 large tumors I still live with today. He suggested by the time I get to Dr. Eilber, who he was going to work with on this case, that they would have come up with a protocol for me. The wonderful news about him going into the old cells was that now we knew it came from my uterus, thus making my tumors hormone receptive and hormone driven. So it opened me up to other options for treatment. This was thrilling. We walked into Dr. Eilber's office, and before we had gone there, I had had a meeting with my family, and I had said, "These 2 doctors are my last appointments. If they don't come up with something that makes sense to me, I'm not going to do that rigorous treatment that those other doctors suggested." I was 68 years old at the time. I didn't know if my body could take it. I didn't know if I wanted to put myself through it. That I was just going to treat myself with natural nutrition and exercise and just ride it out so I could have quality of life with my family. Luckily, they knew how much this meant to me and they respected my wishes. So we knew what was riding on this last appointment. We walked into this office and this doctor had all the papers strewn all around, the CAT scans, the PET scans, the x-rays, and he said, "We're not giving you chemotherapy and we're not giving you an operation. If the tumor board allows, we're going to give you a shot of Lupron that they give to prostate cancer patients, and we're going to give you a pill of Femara that they give to breast cancer patients. You have hormone-driven cancer. These are hormone blockers. The pill of Femara is approved by the FDA. The shot of Lupron is approved by the FDA, but together, for what you have, it's not approved. So this is an experimental treatment. We have to go before the tumor board to get this approved. What do you think?" I said, "I think it makes perfect sense. I have hormone-driven cancer. These are hormone blockers. This makes sense to me, and I'm willing to bank my life on it. They said, go home, we'll call you after we've gone to the tumor board and when the call comes. Tuesday morning, the call came from Dr. Forscher's office. They said, you have been approved by the tumor board. Come in for your first shot today. I did, and this summer, it'll be 13 years. Thank you. This truly has been the most powerful 13 years of my life because I've formed a passion. I formed a passion to get to as many cancer patients as I can and tell them, number one, get more than one opinion. Get 2 opinions, get 3. Keep going until you feel comfortable with what you hear and you feel is right for your body. Number 2, become co-captain with your doctor. He has hundreds of patients. You only have 1. Bring the knowledge of what your body is to your doctor. He brings the knowledge of medicine. You bring the knowledge of your body. Together, it's a perfect partnership. Eat right. Drink green vegetables. Drink green juice. Eat leafy green vegetables. Exercise. Keep making goals for yourself. Writing things down. Write your feelings down. Let your family in. Let your friends in. This is something you can do. You can be proactive in your disease. Years ago, my grandmother, my mother, my sisters, they were told what to do by one doctor. They listened. They did whatever it was. The doctor did the best he could and the best he knew. They laid down, and unfortunately, they died. Today, we are living in such a lucky era. All of us. I didn't realize, but at the time, I was on the cutting edge of personalized medicine. I was so lucky. I was so lucky to have 2 doctors that thought out of the box and were willing to give me something new, and I was so willing to take it. I was in the right place at the right time. How lucky I was. When Dr. Cohn was talking, I felt like he was talking about me. I'm that 80-year-old that he's talking about. This July, I'll be 81. And yes, I have cancer from the time I'm 68, but I'm leading a wonderful life. I'm a legislative ambassador for the American Cancer Society. I'm a hero of hope for the American Cancer Society. I speak all over for various organizations. It's my passion. And not only for cancer and cancer patients, but as I am an aging person myself, I like to go talk to aging people and tell them, be proactive in your aging. This has helped teach me. Having stage 4 cancer has taught me how to deal with the aging process. You can't just lie back and age. Our parents sat on a couch and smoked a cigarette at age 60. We know better. We know to exercise, we know to eat right, we know to be interested and interesting, we know to make goals for ourselves, we know to take whatever it needs to make ourselves active and relevant in this world. So my cancer, my stage 4 cancer, and now my myelodysplasia, which I was diagnosed with a couple of years ago, has helped me deal with my aging. And I feel that if we are all lucky, and if we are listen to our doctors and become co-captain with our doctors, we can live vital, strong lives through our 80s and into our 90s. I have been collecting quotes during my journey, and my favorite quote remains Emile Zola, who said, "If you ask me what I came here today to do, I came here to live out loud." Thank you for letting me live out loud with you today. I want to do so until my very last breath. Thank you.